Heading into the new year of 2020, I had often said that, man, this early half and early portion of 2020 was absolutely stacked with major game releases. We were shaping up to get some of the biggest game releases of the entire generation in the first 3 to 4 months of the year, and seemingly a lot of that has changed thanks to all of these delays that we're seeing. Now, after you guys watch this video, I definitely want you to sound off with all of your thoughts, because this is a topic that is very divisive. Some people are on one side of the fence, some people are on completely the other side. If you guys have been watching our videos talking about the delays, chances are you know where I'm more so side. But nonetheless, it's a topic with a lot of layers to it, and you do have to assess a lot of things, so let's talk about it. Now, delays have been a big part of gaming for a very, very long time. Games get delayed all the time. I think there was a period where literally like every PlayStation 4 exclusive for like the first 3 years of the PlayStation 4's life cycle was just getting delayed. Delay after delay after delay. We were talking major titles just constantly seeing delays. I don't have all of them off of the top of my head, but I just remember PS4 exclusive after PS4 exclusive was getting delayed. And what was the common rhetoric that you would see over and over again? And I even see it on Twitter these days. I see the image circulating with Miyamoto. Hey, I don't know exactly what it says off the top of my head, but a broken launch is broken forever, but a delayed game is only delayed once, or whatever. You get the idea of what it's trying to say. If you launch a broken game, that's damage done to the game forever, and we've seen that happen in the past. Delaying a game, yeah, it sucks for a little period of time, but then the game ultimately comes out. Hopefully it turns out pretty well, and after a while, people will forget about the fact that a game was delayed ever. I mean, do people ever talk about all of those PS4 exclusives being delayed all those years ago? No, they talk about the quality level of said PS4 exclusives and how amazing those games are, so those delays probably played a part. I just offer you guys this. I don't think this idea of a game being amazing and a game having its release date announced really early, I don't think these things have to be mutually exclusive. I don't think all of these studios and developers have to hype up, hey, this is the event, we're showing off mad information about this game, we're giving you guys the information you want a release date, you're getting it at this event. I mean, Sony and Naughty Dog hyped up a State of Play event that was centered all around The Last of Us Part 2. The imperative going into it was, hey, we're gonna hear the release date about the game, and that's exactly what we got. We got a February release date for The Last of Us Part 2, and what happened a month later, a month after that event? Oh, The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed for 3 months. That's a little bit annoying to me, and I feel like a lot of people don't want to talk about this just because these games are so well received, just because they're so iconic, but come on, that's a slap in the face to the consumer. Don't announce the release date of the game. Don't hold this event. Don't get people excited about announcing a release date and then being a month later, hey, we gotta delay the game. I'm sure it's for the best of the game. I'm sure the game is gonna be amazing. I'm sure about everything, but again, these things do not have to be mutually exclusive, and that's where I think people are getting it twisted. Why can't a developer wait to announce a game? Look, as much hate as Bethesda has been getting recently for their games, and I agree with you, Fallout 76, not the best game in the world, but something that I've always liked that Bethesda's done with a lot of their open world titles is that they'll announce the game, a Fallout 4, announce at E3 of 2015, hey, we were nearing up on completion anyway, and then they turn around and release that game right away, no delays, no nothing. And it's kind of funny because Doom Eternal was one of those games that got delayed last year, and that's a Bethesda published title, but that's done by id Software, a little bit different. The Bethesda open world games usually hit the mark no problem, and when we're talking about these games being delayed, so what are the games being delayed? Last of Us Part 2, as I mentioned, originally scheduled for February, that has been delayed until May. Dying Light 2 was originally scheduled for a spring window, now it's been delayed indefinitely. Now, with Techland and Dying Light 2, I give them a pass because all they announced was a spring release window. They didn't make it a big deal about announcing the release date of the game and all these pre-orders and benefits and all this kind of stuff. I give Techland a pass on that. Still sucks because I think Dying Light 2 is going to be a tremendous game, so it's unfortunate to see that game get delayed. We'll see if it transitions into a next-gen title, a cross-gen title, or whatever the case may be. But whatever, again, I kind of give them a pass on that one. Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the biggest delay, and guys, I am probably a bigger CD Projekt Red fan than everybody watching this video put together. Alright, that might be a little bit hyperbolic, but I am a gigantic CD Projekt Red fan, and if you've been watching our videos, you know that I always go to bat for The Witcher 3. It's an incredible game. Go to bat for Witcher 2, I'll go to bat for Witcher 1, I'll go to bat for Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, and I'll go to bat for Gwent, The Witcher card game. However, Cyberpunk 2077 was this game with an incredible amount of build-up, and the lead up to E3 2019, the conversation point was everybody can't wait to see more of Cyberpunk 2077. Everybody can't wait to get some concrete information about Cyberpunk 2077, and yeah, we got a lot of information about Cyberpunk 2077. They made a big deal about announcing the release date, the special edition, all this kind of stuff, announced for April of 2020. People got excited, and 3 months before the release of the game, you delay the game 5 months. Here's another issue I have. When the game is that close to being released and then you delay it by a whopping 5 months, why can't you delay the game a little bit earlier? Did you not see it coming? Did you not figure out, hey, we're not going to be able to hit that April release window, we're going to have to push it back 5 whole months? Why can't you at least start saying something maybe back in November? Give us updates on development. Maybe say, hey, a delay is possible here. Because I find it hard to believe that suddenly they just realized in January, 3 months before the game's release, and what, 8 weeks before the game is probably gonna go gold, maybe even less than that, 6 weeks, that, oh my god, we gotta delay this game. This completely caught us blindsided. I don't buy that for a second. I feel like they knew for a while, but January was kind of that definitive conclusion of, okay, we have to delay the game. There's nothing we can do. Rumblings have come out that maybe it's because of the base Xbox One version of the game. We don't know if that's true yet, but I just ask, give us a little bit of time to digest it. Don't delay the game for 5 months, 3 months before it's supposed to come out. That's something I don't really like. A game being delayed longer than the time window that we have to wait to actually play the game. At that point, I do get a little annoyed, and I'm like, alright, that's a little bit of a bait and switch. Look, is Cyberpunk 2077 gonna be a phenomenal game? I am 100% sure it will be, but I go back to this point, again, these things do not have to be mutually exclusive. You can keep shoving that Miyamoto picture down my throat, but I'm gonna say the same thing over and over again, that you can hold off on announcing the release date for the game until you are 100% sure when it's actually gonna come. And in the case of Cyberpunk 2077, it did feel like a little bit of a bait and switch. Alright, you thought the Cyberpunk 2077, me calling that a bait and switch? Marvel's Iron Man VR, that one was really, really bad, and let me explain why. The game was supposed to come out next month, and then they ended up delaying the game for 3 months. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 is definitely a game that stings a little bit more because it's freaking Cyberpunk 2077. Marvel's Iron Man VR isn't getting that kind of attention, but the game was supposed to come out in a month, and then they ended up delaying it for 3 months. In the case of a game like this, I do think it's an absolute imperative that they do get it right. We need these high-quality VR experiences. An Iron Man game being VR exclusive and being bad would be an absolute train wreck, and that would be very, very unfortunate. But come on, a 3-month delay a month before the game was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out mid to late February, and now it's coming out, I believe, May 15th, just a week before The Last of Us Part 2. So hey, at least there is some synergy as far as these PS4 exclusives being released, but still, a little bit unfortunate for all of the people that were looking forward to the game. Again, a large portion of our audience probably has no interest in PlayStation VR. They're not awfully concerned with all of the PlayStation VR offerings, but Marvel's Iron Man VR did look like a pretty good game, and I was a little bit disappointed by that delay. Okay, speaking of Marvel, Marvel's Avengers also got a significant delay. Originally was supposed to drop, I believe, on May 15th, the same day as Marvel's Iron Man. I don't know if that's connected at all. I don't think it is, because now Marvel's Avengers will be dropping in September, so it got a 4-month delay, a pretty significant delay, but it's a little ways out from the release of the game. Hey, they're kind of teetering on the edge of what I said a second ago, the window between us and the original expected release date and the new date. That's relatively close, so I'm not going to complain about this one that much, and I think Marvel's Avengers is one of those games, hey, Square Enix needs to establish these top-tier franchises, these top-tier new games, and I have felt like Marvel's Avengers has looked a little spotty. If the additional time is going to allow them to create a much better game, which is probably the case for all of these games, but I think that goes doubly so for a game like Marvel's Avengers, it's probably important that they do delay it a little bit. And speaking of Square Enix, the last delay that I have to mention hurt me a lot. However, it was just a slight delay. Final Fantasy VII Remake will no longer be coming out on March 3rd, rather it will be coming out in April, the exact release date being April 10th, so it's a little over a month delay. Honestly, at this point, I've gotten numb to big budget Square Enix JRPG delays. It seems to happen all the time. Final Fantasy 15, we waited 10 years for that game. They literally held an event to announce the release date of that game, and then that game got delayed anyway. When it comes to Square Enix Final Fantasy games and release dates, I take them very much with a grain of salt until the game has gone gold and it's officially out. Because Final Fantasy is a franchise that can absolutely get delayed at 0 hour, and we've seen that over and over again, so this one probably to a lot of people stung a little bit. However, to me, it's become more so of an expectation out of Final Fantasy. So those are all of the delays that we've gotten hit with probably over the course of the last 2 to 3 months, and all of these games, again, originally were scheduled to come out within the first 4 or so months of 2020. Now a lot of them have been pushed back. A game like FF7 Remake still gonna meet that first 4-month window. Cyberpunk 2077 outside of the first half. Dying Light 2 outside of the first half. Last of Us Part 2 no longer February, that'll be in May, as is Marvel's Iron Man VR and Marvel's Avengers outside of the first half. So a lot of delays, a lot of brutalization, I guess, towards the release calendar for the first half of 2020. It still looks good, don't get it twisted. Doom Eternal, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Final Fantasy 7 Remake is still gonna be out. There's a lot of exciting games, but I think for a lot of people, the aforementioned games were their hotly anticipated titles, especially the trio of FF7 Remake, Last of Us Part 2, Cyberpunk 2077. Those were the 3 games that going into the first half of 2020, I was looking at and saying, man, the fact we're getting all of these games within a couple months of one another, that is insane. And now all of them have seen a delay. Kind of crazy how that happens. Thankfully, FF7 Remake and Last of Us Part 2 will still be out within the same time frame, April, May, and hopefully the rest of the games do come out in a working fashion and a quality state. That's really all we can hope for at this point, but I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Are you completely okay with delays? Is this something you don't care about because this lets you, tackle your backlog, all of the games you have yet to play, or are you getting a little annoyed? You're getting excited for games like Last of Us coming out in February. You're getting excited for Cyberpunk, and then they're getting significant delays. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.